this lady right here, she voted for Trump.
I did.
I'm sorry.
He is going to incite a World War III Holocaust situation. Hitler is one of his idols.
People have drinking the Kool-Aid. It's unbelievable how much. They would actually drink it like Jim Jones and die for this guy. Ah!
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. Over the last several months, the Democrats and the media ran a fear campaign saying that a Trump victory would mean Project 2025 and losing democracy. And they specifically went after women, threatening that he'd sign a federal abortion ban. Well, many women didn't buy into the fear-mongering and showed up anyways to vote for Donald Trump. So today, we're in Philadelphia and we're going to be talking to Democrats about female Trump supporters. And for those that can't fathom the idea of women supporting Donald Trump, I'm going to bring them face to face with my good friend, Lisa Elizabeth. Lisa, thanks for joining me today. Are you ready to get going?
I'm cold, but I'm ready.
We're ready. Let's go talk to some people. Huge shout out to our friends over at Ground News for sponsoring this video. The idea of the female Trump supporter, what are our thoughts?
I don't get it.
Not good.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Don't understand it.
Don't understand it. What are your thoughts?
I have thoughts. What's that? But I don't want to say.
I think they're delusional.
People can do what they want to do, I guess. Extremely disappointing. I also work in healthcare, so I don't know how you can work in healthcare and vote that way either. So
I know a lot of nurses, they're kind of all over the map when it comes to their political leanings.
And I don't know, it's really disappointing to me.
Is that shocking to you?
Yes.
Yes. What about you?
Yeah.
I don't understand personally how a woman could vote for Trump based on what he has said about women.
Have you
used to
had
be
conversations
different.
with your friends about that? Do you debate about it at all or no?
People that are willing to have an open conversation, I'm willing to have like an open conversation, but I often find most Trump supporters are a little bit closed-minded.
Are we friends or family?
Friends.
Would you look at this? And the one with the purple hair voted for Trump.
You have to learn to love people despite their choices that they make.
The reason why we're talking about women voting for Donald Trump is because this lady right here, she voted for Trump.
I did.
I'm sorry. But you screwed all the rest of us.
Oh.
This woman voted for Donald Trump.
Oh no.
You said delusional is what comes to mind when you think of women that voted for Donald Trump. Would you mind elaborating on that for Lisa, who did vote for Donald Trump?
Who did you vote for?
Me? I voted for T-Dog.
Trump. Yeah. But we're trying to bridge some gaps here, though. Like I think there's definitely common ground.
I would love to hear from her. Give her a voice here.
Oh, I just good luck, babe. You know, we got somewhere to be. Have a good one, guys.
So she's a crowd favorite around here. Why do you guys not like the idea of a woman voting for Donald Trump, personally?
I don't have a problem with a woman voting for Donald Trump. I think that's your right, and you should vote for who you want. It's just not what I would do.
She was saying for many of her friends that voted for Donald Trump that are women, close-minded. And what do you see them being close-minded on, if you don't mind elaborating on that a little bit? Maybe for Lisa, who voted for Trump?
I work in healthcare too, that's what I was saying. I just can't imagine voting that way and marginalizing so many people.
I think that now, like you were saying, it's hard to have a conversation, and people like us our Trump supporters aren't super open-minded. But I think there's a lot of things that we can agree on now. Like your party, the Democrats, were for no new wars. We want these wars to end. We want all the things to happen. I mean, that's what the whole administration is geared towards. We also have with the advent of bringing in RFK and Tulsi.
Oh my God, that's
Wait,
hysterical.
but no, we do have, there are necessary reforms that need to be made within the healthcare system about overall wellness and keeping people completely healthy. And I think that there's definitely some overlap where we could find some common ground.
Oh no, I said if they're willing to have a conversation, we can find common ground. I'm willing to find common ground. I just oftentimes find people aren't looking to find common ground.
I think that's certainly an issue that I think a lot of people share across the board. We do this all over the country, and I hear that a lot. So I think a lot of people agree with you. It is about opening your mind, having a conversation. As for you, Mama Bear, what was hysterical about what she just said?
RFK Jr. in charge of healthcare?
Right, the sickest nation in the West is deciding to shake things up and try something different. How terrible. In all seriousness, this reaction from folks on the left is due to a lack of education outside of their bubble. And social media feeds being curated by algorithms does not help. You guys, this is one of the reasons why I started this channel, to challenge the narrative and get people to think critically about the important issues today. And in my own search for truth, I found something tackling the problems I talk about every day. Ground News, a small, independent team I partnered up with. Their app and website gather perspectives from across the political spectrum in one place. Just swipe through every headline covering a story with context on each outlet's political bias and whether the narrative is being shaped by corporations or independent voices. This way, you know who's benefiting from the way a story is being framed or whether it's being reported on at all. You can go to ground.news/Klug to follow along while I show you guys how it works. For example, CNN recently corrected a major report about a supposed Syrian prisoner they helped free. Turns out he was actually a first lieutenant in the Syrian Air Force intelligence. Ground News has about 200 stories covering this. You can see right here left-wing news is barely talking about it. And if you use their bias comparison, you can see the difference in reporting on this story. You'll see a few notes pop up right off the bat. Right here it says the left employs terms like so-called Syrian prisoner, casting doubt on his credibility, while the center uses notorious to frame the man negatively, emphasizing distrust. It's stories like these that show why we need more accountability in the media. Look, Trump's upcoming presidency will affect the media landscape once again. It's important to be ready to uncover the facts that the mainstream media will try to bury. For a limited time, you guys can get the same plan I use for nearly half the cost. Just go to ground.news/Klug or scan the QR code to get 40% off their unlimited access Vantage plan. Or gift this to somebody that you know who needs it. Remember, supporting Ground News doesn't just support the work my team and I are doing, you're also taking back control of how you stay informed. All right, let's get back to this video.
My God, we eradicated polio and other diseases, and now they're all going to come back because he doesn't think children should be vaccinated.
No, that's not
I'm
true.
an old white woman, and we grew up learning to be kind, empathetic, nice. He is evil. He is none of those things.
RFK or Trump?
No, this is Trump.
Okay, we're
This
talking
is
about Trump. Do you guys think that Donald Trump is against women or no?
I think he's supported other people that have petitioned to take the bodily autonomy from women, and that's the biggest thing for me.
Defend your position. Don't start a fight with your friend, but defend your position.
Harris is spectacular. I mean, she's brilliant. She was a prosecutor. She is on the right side.
Yeah.
Trump's
not brilliant and he's on the wrong side.
Trump is a horror show.
If you were to tell her one major reason why voting for Donald Trump as a woman was a bad idea, what would it be?
Because he's not for a woman. In my own personal opinion, his interests are himself, and
he has the
can
first
say
female chief of staff ever. He has women that are his attorneys. He has more women around him than most other people, like most other politicians out there. So that doesn't fly either.
I think just because there is evidence to support that he respects women, like hiring a woman, I think like these types of motivations can also come from saving these populations that he wants to gain to vote for him, like women. So he's going to hire women. He's going to get women on his side out in the public so that way he can garner the support. Not saying that this hasn't happened in other places. Yeah. I mean, we look at the Democrats and how they've struggled with Hamas and dealing with those types of things. But like, just because there's one thing that you can identify that is supporting, we're talking about women in this conversation, but like that doesn't mean that these other things haven't happened that do not support that
His chief
claim.
of staff, he's already been elected. He can't run again. What do you think the incentive is there for Donald Trump, in your view?
Ego.
Yeah, personally, I'm not going to have a
You're saying
positive
to get
opinion,
those voters.
So. Right, yeah.
I think that
and
he's
also,
doing a lot
future,
to protect women. That's what I think. He's protecting like men and women, like women from men and women's sports, right? Like taking just scholarships and opportunities away from these girls, right? Like people being assaulted by having mass immigration, having a lot like Lake and Riley, like Jocelyn, like all these people that have been attacked by people who really shouldn't be here in the first place, right? I see him as overall trying to protect women more than hurt them.
What are your thoughts on that response? Do you think that's reasonable?
I understand what you're saying. However, I think protecting women looks different for you than for me.
Okay.
That's a good question.
So, for you, protecting women is like excluding transgender women from sports.
Well, they're
Whereas
biologically
for me-
male and hurting females, like physically, like that, like the boxer, or the boxer in the Olympics that was like had XY chromosomes, like almost broke that girl's like face, like it was horrible.
I hear you.
Is that reasonable?
I don't. Yes and no. Like I understand what you're saying in the sense that like they are stronger than women.
Right.
However, or like biological women, but that doesn't mean that we can like excuse, because to me this is like an excuse to exclude transgender women from the conversation, and I personally don't think that that's right, because they are a population that's in this country whether or not you like it, and in order to address these situations we do have to include them, so I just don't think that these are appropriate. But have a good day.
Yeah.
I think his ego is so big that he wants to make the country great so he can leave, go and see, I told you, I made it great. Like that's what I think.
What do you think about that? Do you agree with that or no?
I do. He has an extremely large ego.
It could drive results. It could drive results.
It can.
To you, what matters when it comes to, if you guys are thinking 15 years down the road, do you care about somebody's personality or do you care about the policies that they support and enact?
Well, policies are important, but so is your character. I don't want my children to ever emulate this horrible human being that's going to be president again.
Well, Lisa, what would your response be to that as a woman that voted for Trump?
I just think that that's so misguided. I think that that's what like the media has turned it to be. Before he decided to put an R next to his name and come down the escalator, everyone loved him. Oprah had him on.
I didn't love him. Never loved him.
That may be you, but like everybody loved him. Thought he was super generous. He got NAACP
Not generous.
awards.
It's all scam.
He let people stay in his like that. I forget what her name was. The little singer. Her family got shot. He let her stay for free in Trump Hotel forever.
It's a game. He only cares about himself.
Would you agree that more people liked him before you ran for president or no?
I don't know. I never have liked the man, and since my
They
10 years
love
and what he did to our neighbor, never have liked him. I've seen through him, and I can't understand how he's like, people have drinking the Kool-Aid. It's unbelievable how much they would actually drink it like Jim Jones and die for this guy.
So even if that's the case, Howard Klein is obviously Ashley Biden's husband. My mom worked with them, knows about the family very well, and let me tell you, those people are not good people, right? So like, if that's politics and you're worried about character, well, they all have terrible characters. If I were to agree with you and say what you're saying is true.
In that position, you
right,
do
okay.
have a certain kind of.
So then we can back up and.
No, Trump is a horrible human being. Horrible human being. I just can't understand how people voted for him at all.
Well, here you have one that voted because of it's good for the family business. It's good for family members' businesses and all of that. Do you think that's a reasonable response to maybe some of your friends that didn't vote for Donald Trump? Do you ever have that debate with people?
Well, I try not to have the debate because people were very ignorant this election and were crazy psychotic in the office. So you couldn't really talk about it because it would get into like arguments and people were not talking to each other.
I'm Jewish, and I am very afraid that he is going to incite a World War III.
But he's the one that had peace in the Middle East. He's the one that had the Abraham Accords. He's the one that had no wars under him.
Just because he says he's for Israel,
does he have a record though that is better than this current administration's record when it comes to wars?
It's also well documented. It's also well documented that Hitler is one of his idols. So it's.
Okay, so how do you two be friends?
Wait, hold on.
Like that's what I want to know.
We don't talk about it.
I actually have to. We have to go back to that. It's well documented. How is it well documented that Hitler is one of his idols?
Well, it's well documented that he has read his books. He keeps his books by his table side.
No, it's not true. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Okay. But I don't want to be on that.
All right, that's okay.
Wait. I have to ask more about this. He keeps Mein Kampf on his table side. Why did you vote for Donald Trump?
Mainly, I'm not saying what he promotes. It's just that I don't want to talk shit up for the people that believe in Kamala, but I'm into, I want to say conspiracies and stuff, and Kamala had hella people that are into very evil shit.
My husband is a business owner, and so that was like my main focus. I can tell you I would have probably never understood it until because I work in government, and with hospitals. So of course everybody wants, a Democrat in, because that's where we get our funding. But then when I had a husband who actually had his own business, within the last 4 years, I saw the difference in what it did to his business. And I have a brother that has his own business, and then I started to see it a little differently, because people in business did much better when Trump was in.
We run into a lot of women that voted for Kamala Harris. They're saying, how on earth could you ever be a woman and vote for Donald Trump, or just a person and vote for Donald Trump? They don't see it at all, and they genuinely think that maybe he's a Nazi sympathizer or he's racist. What would you say to people that believe that he's racist or a Nazi or whatever it may be?
I think it's ignorant. I think people that think like that are ignorant just because they believe whatever's on TV. They do cut some parts and make it seem like he's saying certain things, or because someone in one of the debates said something about the islands, Puerto Rico.
He's a comedian.
Not a debate. It was a stand-up comedian, Tony, that was doing a set before the rally.
You see,
he was actually doing a joke about them having a trash problem, but people don't understand that they have had this long-standing trash problem, and so they took it way out of context.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have people that tell me, well, Trump said this. I'm like, did he say it or did someone else say it?
He says wild, crazy things, but who doesn't? Sometimes I say the most racist, crazy things out of the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, I'm not racist, right? But sometimes you say really dumb things.
Probably the least racist people are the ones that are making those types of jokes too, or saying random crap like that as well. When it comes to a lot of Republicans and why they support, let's say Donald Trump or something, they see him as a president for everybody, not for white people, not for Hispanics, not for blacks, for everybody. And that seems to be the underlying position when I'm interviewing Republicans is he's a president for all Americans. Do you think that Democrats, have they done anything for, let's say, Black America specifically? They run every single major city, and a lot of these cities seem like a disaster. Would you agree with that?
Well, okay, like I said, some of my friends did support Trump this election, so we've had a lot of talks about things like this, debates, and they don't believe that Democrats have supported, especially because they were in office for the past 4 years. They don't believe that Democrats supported Black America.
But for me, I'm not from Pennsylvania. I'm from Seattle, so a lot of things that have to do with him, especially with healthcare, that leads a lot of people running to my state. Because the things that your state might vote on and say no to,
they're coming to you.
They're going to come to my state that's going to 100% say across the board, yes, for us, then it leads into flooding and overpopulation. Then we have people of all ages, all races, all ethnicities. We have a lot of them coming to Seattle to get health care that you can't get in Texas.
But doesn't Seattle have a huge drug problem?
We do.
Has Seattle done a good job of cracking down on the drug crisis in Seattle?
They're giving out needles. They're encouraging it.
They don't.
They can't look at Republicans for that issue.
That's an everybody issue.
Well, there's no Republicans in Seattle.
In Seattle, they can care less. You can literally turn around and see somebody shooting up or smoking in front of you.
Wow. That's how it is a couple that way down in Kensington.
Nope, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
For the record, I will say that I am a Christian and that my values are about respecting other people's thoughts, feelings, and opinions. That's why we're such amazing friends. Because
we are amazing friends.
We're trying to bridge gaps.
That's what we're doing. She's an incredible human being.
It's okay that we can disagree politically.
I do not agree with his position on abortion. Every woman has the right to her own body, and I don't need a bunch of old white men telling me what to do.
Didn't old white men, weren't they the reason for Roe v. Wade?
Okay. No, thank you so much.
They totally were. All right, you guys, that is it for part one. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and make sure you stick around for part two. So, as a nurse, do you mind if I ask you, is it a human life in the womb?
I mean, I think it depends.
Is saying that he's a rapist or whatever, or sexual assaulter, isn't that vilifying the man?
I'm going to vilify him for a lot of things.
If you're okay with murdering your child, that's okay.
Oh, I'll kill them all.